Welcome to Reader's Workshop today, boys and girls. Today, we're going to talk about interacting with digital books a little bit more. And this is so important because you may be doing more digital reading this year than normal. So, why is it important for you to be able to interact with your books? One of the reasons is because when you interact with your digital books, you make your thinking visible, not only to you, but to everybody else too. So when we can see what you're thinking, we can respond and we can grow our thinking together. So one way that we can do this is by creating something called a book snap. And a book snap is a place for you to share the page of text you're reading and the thinking. We're going to start by looking at a book that is all about mummies. Now this page is about pharaohs and their power. Let's take a listen. So yesterday, we learned that we can take a picture of a book that we're reading online and send it to Notability in order to put a sticky note on it. Today, what I want to show you is that you can create something called a book snap in Google Slides. Before we get to that, let me read you this interesting page about Egyptian pharaohs. It says, the rulers of ancient Egypt were called pharaohs. People believed the pharaoh was a god on earth. The pharaoh had all of the power. He or she made the laws. The pharaoh owned the land and everything in it. Artists carved and painted pharaohs onto statues and buildings. They always made the pharaoh appear young and fit, no matter how he or she looked in real life. I thought that last paragraph was really interesting because even as the pharaoh got older and maybe not quite as strong, they continued to carve them looking young and fit, and it just makes me think that the Egyptians must have thought the pharaoh's health and strength and youth were really important for their leadership. So I want to make a book snap about that. What I'm going to do is take a screenshot of that page of the book. Then I'm going to open up Google Slides. Now, I'm going to start a new presentation, and the way to do that is to press the little plus sign in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And I'm going to choose New Presentation. Now, I'm going to call this my book snap for September 17th, and I'm going to create that. And you're going to submit book snaps from time to time. Now, I want to add that picture of that book, so I'm going to select this box and the plus sign. Now I'm going to select Image from my photos. And you have tried this a few times before, so you're probably watching this and realizing this looks pretty familiar. I'm going to delete the text boxes in the background. I don't need those. Now, I want to add some of my thinking, and I'm going to do that by pressing the plus sign. Now, I can go ahead and scroll down to Shape. Now, inside shapes, there are all kinds of different kinds of shapes you can pick, but what I really want is a call out. So, scan your eyes to the right and find the word callouts. Inside the callouts category, I'm going to select this square-shaped callout. And I'm going to go ahead and just move it around until I think it's in the right spot. Now you can notice how I'm moving the piece that's going to connect to the text. Now this is important because when your teacher receives your book snap, you want to make sure that this is connected to the correct spot. Take a look how I'm connecting it to the first paragraph. That's not really what I'm going to be jotting about. I'm really going to be jotting about how they carved them young and fit even though they weren't. So I'm going to leave it right there at the bottom. Now, once I click inside that box, I can type into it. This makes me think the Egyptians must have thought physical health and strength were very important for leaders. If the box needs to be a little bit bigger, just expand it. Now I've created a book snap. And in this case, I can submit this to my teacher to help them understand what I was thinking about and what part of the text it is connected to.
Now, I also have been reading some other books, and one of the books I've been reading about is about Wonder Woman Gal Gadot. I think she's awesome. And so I was reading a biography, and I want to share with you how I made a book snap using her biography.
Okay, so now we're going to take a look at how to make a book snap one more time, but this time it's going to be about a book that describes the life of Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. Remember, in order to create a new slide, you want to press the plus at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to press that now. You want to choose New Presentation, and again, we're going to label it Book Snap, and make sure you include the date because you're going to make lots of different book snaps. Create. And now you've got the opportunity to insert the picture that you took of your book. So just click on the box, and remember, the plus sign gives you the option to insert an image. So now I'm going to go to my photos, and I'm going to go ahead and choose the page of the book from Gal Gadot's life. I'm going to delete those boxes behind. I don't need those. And now I've got the page of text that I want to work with. Now, I'm just going to read you a little section of this page, and I'm only going to read to you the bottom paragraph. It says, Gadot's mother was a physical education teacher who strongly believed in the importance of fresh air, sunshine, and exercise for Gal and her younger sister Dana. Far more time was spent outside exploring than inside watching television. My mom is amazing, Gal told ESPN reporter Alison Glock. So I'm thinking, I'm beginning to wonder if the way she was raised really influenced the acting roles that she eventually took. Wonder Woman is a very strong woman. Lots of muscles, lots of strength. Gal grew up with a mom who was a physical education teacher. So I have some thinking I want to add about that paragraph. Now remember, I can press the plus sign, and then I can select shape this time. And I want to choose a call-out box. This is going to allow me to choose either a thinking cloud or a speech bubble. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And then I can direct my thought bubble to the paragraph that it's really attached to. So now, all I have to do is type into the box. I'm beginning to think the way Gal was raised influenced the acting roles she plays now. You know what? I have a little bit more thinking to add too. So instead of just one thought bubble, I'm going to add another one. So let me go back to shape. And remember, I'm going to choose callouts. And this time, I'm going to add a thinking bubble again because I'm doing some wondering. And I think this is the right bubble to pick. I don't want to overlap with the one below it. So I'm just going to make sure I'm not covering up any of my text. I wonder how we are raised will influence our future job. Now, I've included two pieces of thinking on this book snap. I want to make sure I extend those thinking bubbles down to the bottom paragraph because that's really where that came from. And now I've created a book snap about this biography about Gal Gadot.
So you may be thinking, all right, Mrs. Hands, how am I going to push my thinking so that my book snaps sound like high quality thinking? Well, let me give you a few ideas. You can use these kinds of words to get your thinking started. You can write, I'm realizing, I wonder why, it seems important, this is giving me the idea that, or maybe this connects to. These are ways you can push your thinking every time you write a sticky note or create a book snap. So today's assignment is going to ask you to do some digital reading. So I'm going to ask you to put your paper books aside for a little while. We want you to be really good at navigating digital books and creating book snaps using those books. So create a book snap using a digital book, and you're going to do it in Google Slides. And then you're going to submit a picture of that book snap. All right, have fun with it. We can't wait to see your thinking.